Yo, what's goody? What's goody? What's goody? Yo, what's goody, y'all? How's everybody doing tonight? Making music out here. You already know this is the next track to drop. Um, I'm tired of paying engineers when they do a terrible job on my shit, so we about to get it right. Everyone doing good tonight? I appreciate that, bro. Make sure y'all hit that subscribe button if you haven't already. We about to do some crazy stuff. The next video I'm gonna drop, I don't know if this is exactly the next video I'm gonna drop. Appreciate you, bro. Appreciate you. The next video I'm about to drop, I'm gonna go through the drive-through at like McDonald's, and I'm gonna freestyle to the customers and shit and piss them off. You feel me? Get ready for that one. That's gonna be lit. This icy what type beat, lucky type beat. Icy chain, icy chain. But I'm saying I need my M's like Eminem. Yeah, this shit does slap. Icy chain with pistol grip. I ain't a simp, pretty face, but I'm so him. Fuck Versace's at H&M, I burn your body, leave the sediments. Cause evidence, money, guns, and a residence, exactly where my mental is. Cause I'm heaven sent. Small circle can't let him in. Was born needing medicine. They thought I failed, they got it wrong like a weatherman. Working hard for their presidents. Also, my solar fit means my son gets everything I never did. Still a hood dude in a clever kid. Still a crash shot, the Beretta spits. Like a standoff for two Mexicans. Not your top 10, but I'm close to it like Edelman. I appreciate you, bro. Job application. You're a real one, bro. Subscribe. I promise you won't regret it. I know it's gonna sound crazy, but we on the road to 100,000 subscribers. That's the next goal. I went straight from 2,000 to just you're supposed to go like 2,000, 5,000, 10,000 type, but nah, I'm going straight for 100,000. I'm not stopping until I get there. And once I get there, I'm gonna keep going after that too. But yeah, boom boom, boom bop, boom boom, boom pop pop. Fuck nah, just popping off, blessing my ears. Appreciate you, bro. You a real one. A real one right there. Job application. Hey, everybody, shout out to job application. He real as hell. Everybody finna have a good night though. I just messed up my car. I'm so pissed off right now, man. I was replacing a thing called the PVC valve, and I broke the bolt inside of the valve. Bro, it's supposed to be a 2 minute job. I just replaced the valve. I broke the fucking bolt inside of the valve. So now it turns into a whole nother job. Oh my god, dog. That shit pissed me off. Anyways, let's work. Alright, so it's gonna get a little bit boring in here, but y'all can either stay or leave. But yeah, I gotta finish up this mix and master. Compression is one of the least used and understood mixing tools by people starting out and most used by pros. Don't let it get confusing, try to think of it in the simplest terms. Compression is an automatic volume fader. When a sound gets loud, the compressor will turn it down. How quickly it turns it down will affect how it sounds. That's the top tone. If it's slow to turn it down, that initial hit will be let through and make it extra punchy. Okay? If it's super fast to turn it down, it will clamp down on that hit and make it smoother and less punchy. How quickly it turns back up will determine how much the quieter parts are impacted. That's the release time. And finally, you'll use makeup gain to balance the volume so you don't lose any volume along the way. Add punch, sustain, contain the dynamics, or add presence. Yeah, everything will be alright. It could be worse. I appreciate it though, bro said, sheesh man, hope you're doing alright. Yeah, it could be worse, bro. I guess that's the best way to look at it. The whole car could have broke. At least it didn't. At least it's just one thing where I have to teach myself to do something. And you know what? It's just a lesson learned. I feel like life likes to do that to me. Life don't let me go through one hole. It makes me go through every single avenue to figure out every solution for that one specific situation. So I'm like, oh, you know what? I feel like that's how life teaches me. If I want to do one thing, it's gonna teach me everything about that one thing. And it pisses me off that that happens, but it happens so often that I should be used to it at this point, for real. Think of the loudest and quietest points of your audio. If you turn down the loudest parts, you'll be able to hear the quieter parts better. And finally, you'll make up gain to balance the volume so you don't lose any volume along the way. Add punch, add sustain, contain the dynamics, or add presence. Think of the loudest and the quietest points of your audio. If you turn down the loudest parts, you'll be able to hear the quieter parts better. If your kick isn't cutting through the mix well enough, compression can make it punchier, so you'll feel it more. If a word on the vocal is getting lost, compressing the louder words will make that quieter word louder. If you want your bass to sustain more, compressing the louder part and slowly letting off will allow the sustain of the bass to be more present. Check out this video, let me explain. See me explain compression with examples. So compression is an automatic volume filter, and then next we'll be doing effects. I gotta open this video, there's no way that I can. I gotta see what's happening here. This is all the process, so.
And watch it take shape.
If y'all didn't know already, check out the band guide. Yo, that's true as hell. Yeah, for God be taking you somewhere. Yeah, man, that's true as hell. If y'all do music and you need help figuring something out, check out the band guide on YouTube. And I don't even know, bro, like that, but he be explaining how to mix and master so well that it's just appreciated. So I'm shouting bro out the band guide on YouTube. Check him out.
Professional, probably need to be turning it down or really fast. That has to do with the compression. So today if you want your music to sound professional, probably need to be using compression. So today I'm going to explain exactly what a compressor is and how it works. Welcome back to the band guide where we use GarageBand to create professional sounding music. I'm going to be band Guy Colin, and today we're talking about compression. Compression is one of two tools you have to master if you want to make your music sound professional. EQ and compression are kind of the staples of mixing your music. And compression sounds complex, but in actuality, it's really just an automatic volume. I'll explain that more in just a minute. But before we get into today's video, I want to give you something to help you with compression. I put together a completely free compression cheat sheet that just walks through exactly what a compressor is and how it works and how you can use it inside GarageBand to make professional sound music. There's a link in the description below where you can download it completely free. So be sure to grab that. Let's start talking about some compression. So compression has two goals. The first goal is to control the dynamics. The second goal is to add presence. Now, there are a lot of different ways that you could be using a compressor across the different tracks in your mix. When it comes to controlling the dynamics, you could be adding or reducing the punch of really transient heavy sources, so your drums or a staccato piano part or guitar part, anything that's really punchy. You could be making it more punchy so it really cuts through the mix, or reducing the punch with the compressor so it's not quite as punchy in the mix and doesn't cut through quite as much. Depending on the song you're working on, either might be appropriate. Another way that you could be using a compressor to control the dynamics is to reduce variation across the part in the song. So sometimes you need and how it works.
Oh my God.
Welcome back to the Band Guide, where we use GarageBand to create professional sounding music. I'm your band guy, Colin, and today we're talking about compression. Compression is one of two tools you have to master if you want to make your music sound professional. EQ and compression are kind of the staples of mixing your music. And compression sounds complex, but in actuality, it's really just an automatic volume fader. I'll explain that more in just a minute. But before we get into today's video, I want to give you something to help you with compression. I put together a completely free compression cheat sheet that just walks through exactly what a compressor is and how it works and how you can use it inside GarageBand to create professional sound music. There's a link in the description below where you can download it completely free. So be sure to grab that. Let's start talking about some compression. So compression has two goals. The first goal is to control the dynamics. The second goal is to add presence. Now, there are a lot of different ways that you could be using a compressor across the different tracks in your mix. When it comes to controlling the dynamics, you could be adding or reducing the punch of really transient heavy sources, so your drums or a staccato piano part or guitar part, anything that's really punchy. You could be making it more punchy so it really cuts through the mix, or reducing the punch with the compressor so it's not quite as punchy in the mix and doesn't cut through quite as much. Depending on the song you're working on, either might be appropriate. Another way that you could be using a compressor to control the dynamics is to reduce variation across the part in the song. So sometimes you need to use volume automation if things ever get way too loud. But if it's just a slight variation, a compressor is a really fast and easy way. If you just have a couple strums that are just a little bit too loud on the guitar part, or if you sing one specific word in a line a little bit louder than every other word, the compressor can quickly control that so that it never gets too loud or too quiet. And along with that, as you start to reduce this variation, you're adding presence, because what you're doing is you're bringing the loudest part quieter and bringing up the volume of the quieter parts so that everything is a little bit closer in dynamic range in the volume, so that it's never too loud, never too quiet. It's always sitting just right, and that will make it feel more upfront and professional and clear in your mix. So how does a compressor work? Well, there's 5 key components to a compressor: the threshold, the ratio, the attack time, the release time, and the makeup gain. And then you monitor how much compression is actually happening with a gain reduction meter. Now, I like to think of compression as an automatic volume fader, as I mentioned before. Picture a volume fader like you'd have on a mixing console at a live concert, or in GarageBand, the volume sliders that you have on the left-hand side. It's the same type of concept, but it's automatically doing the work for you. So picture a volume fader. Picture right here as if it were sliding up and down, right? So we've set our volume fader right here at this point. When we set our threshold, what we're actually doing is setting a point where we're saying if volume ever gets past this threshold, we're going to turn it down on our volume fader. It's going to automatically happen. Now, how much it's turned down by is determined by the ratio. So a higher ratio will automatically turn the volume down more. Depending on how much it goes past the threshold, we'll turn the volume down more. how fast it happens has to do with the attack time. So if it's going to be slowly turning it down or really fast, that has to do with the attack time. And then the release time is how quickly it returns back to the original point. So a slow release time will slowly come back up. A fast release time is going to basically instantaneously return back to the original volume. And then your makeup gain is basically trying to balance the volume, because as you turn down, you're going to be losing volume in the signal. And so by bringing up your makeup gain, what you're doing is bringing up the overall volume. So as it gets turned down, you'll lose volume. But then as you turn it up with makeup gain, you'll make that volume back up. The cool thing is, if your quieter parts never pass that threshold, they'll automatically get more volume from that makeup gain. That makes sense? Let's look at this a different way inside the compression cheat sheet.
I have way too much ADHD to.
Again, you can download this below completely free. So let's go down to where we're talking about the threshold ratio. This is, I think, the best visual representation of thresholding ratio. So this is our source volume, and it's going to just continue moving up this line. So that's the volume moving up the line. And when you set your threshold at a certain point, as the volume passes it, depending on the ratio that you set, it will turn it down. So a 1-to-1 ratio is not going to turn the volume down at all. A 2-to-1 ratio will turn it down by half. A quarter will only let a quarter through. And then infinite to 1 is basically saying no volume past this threshold. As we bring that threshold down, more compression will be happening. You can see it gets more extreme as it comes down. So that's, in my mind, the best way to visualize and think about the threshold and ratio of a compressor. Now, when it comes to the attack time, very similar.
Appreciate you, bruh. You a real one for real. Shout out to job application, y'all. Bro said, don't worry, I'm still here. If you were wondering, just saying, watching. You a real one, bro.
You see here how quickly it engages on the audio once it's past the threshold.
I think tonight's a good night for pizza night.
It's going to be really quick. A slower attack time, it's going to be slower. And then the release
Yeah,
time
but
is
then
how
we're not
quickly
gonna have
it
lunch for
turns
tomorrow,
back
so.
up after it's been turned down, after it's crossed that threshold. Let's jump over to a couple quick examples inside GarageBand so you can hear what compression is actually doing. So in this example here, we've just set up GarageBand Drummer, and the GarageBand Drummer track is running through this free analog obsession compressor called the SpeedComp. It's a great compressor, and we're just going to play with the knobs. So we have our threshold, which is the point at which the compressor will start engaging. We have our ratio, which is how much it will turn the volume down by once it passes the threshold. We have our makeup gain, which is how much volume we're making up after the volume has been lost by being turned down by the compressor. We have attack time, release time. There is a knee on this compressor. This is on some compressors, not on all compressors, but essentially it is the same. When it starts to get turned down by that compressor, is it going to be a really sharp point or a really soft point? Just imagine a curved knee or a really, really pointy knee. Think of it that way. So we'll ignore the knee for the purposes of this video. Let's focus on that's it.
Yeah, we're not getting no copyright on this, so yeah.
Sound up front and present in the mix, you need to be using compression. I know compression can seem confusing, so today I want to show you an easy approach to vocal compression that the pros use that you can do inside GarageBand completely free. Welcome back to the Band Guide, where we use GarageBand to create professional sounding music. I'm Band Guy Colin. Today we're going through an easy approach to vocal compression that the pros use that you can set up in literally seconds. It's amazing. It's become my go-to over the years. Now, this is actually the 4th video in my pro vocal mixing series where I'm walking through everything you need to know to create a professional vocal sound in GarageBand for free. But beyond just these videos, I also put together a completely free checklist that you can download. You can reference anytime you're mixing vocals in the future. There's a link in the description below where you can pick it up, again, completely free, so that you don't miss any of these steps. And it walks through all the key areas that you need to know anytime you're looking back at it. So be sure to pick that up, again, from the link in the description below, completely free. Let's go and jump into GarageBand and set up some pro vocal compression. Okay, so the key to incredibly easy vocal compression is an 1176 style compressor. Analog hardware versions of this thing go for thousands of dollars, but this plugin by Analog Obsession does the trick really, really
We
well
got that,
and
bro.
is completely free. So really quickly, let me show you the website where you can go to get this. I'll link to it in the description below as well. Now, this is a Patreon page, and if you're familiar with Patreon, Patreon is a platform that allows you to support the creative person that's doing an endeavor. So in this case, it's a plugin developer who makes these really awesome plugins, and you can pledge to support it monthly, but you can also get them for free. And he set it up this way intentionally. So don't shy away from downloading it under the download link here for completely free. You're not logged in, so anyone can go and grab this completely free. Set it up this way intentionally, and if you like it and have the means, maybe try out a couple of his other plugins, then maybe support him. I'm a big advocate for supporting people for good work. This guy does incredible quality work. This is a really great plugin that can give you that pro vocal sound for free. So get it, try it out, see if it works for you, and if it does, and you dig it and have the means, then definitely consider supporting it. So one other thing to note, if you've never added a third-party plugin to GarageBand, is that under
I want to know if I did do this properly. So the crash out, the Beretta spit.
preferences, you'll need to go under Audio MIDI and make sure that Enable Audio Units is on. That's just going to tell GarageBand to look for third-party plugins. And if you're still not seeing it, then you might need to quit and reload GarageBand or even restart your computer. But after that, it should show up. It's just going to be under Audio Units here at the very bottom, under Analog Obsession, and then it'll be Fetish. That's what we're going to use here. So I'm going to go and flip this off since I've already added one on here, and we're going to start going through this and explaining how you can set this up in seconds and start dialing in really professional sounding compression. Now, functionally, compression is going to reduce the volume range of the vocals so that it's never too loud, never too quiet. You'll never have a word that jumps out and hurts you because it's too loud, and never have another word that just gets completely lost because it's way too quiet. It's going to reduce the dynamic range. And it does that because it's functionally just an automatic volume fader. Anytime a sound gets too loud, the compressor is automatically going to turn it down. And anything that is too quiet will benefit by the makeup gain that you dial in. This will make sense as we get into this, but just imagine one of these volume faders just automatically turning up on quieter words and down on louder words. That's what we're going to get here with this compression. Now, how much it turns down by is determined by the ratio. Here, we're not going to go too in-depth with it. All you need to know is keep it to 4 to 1 on this vocal. Occasionally, you could go a little bit higher on a harder rock.
Should we be going to Michael Roxton? Yeah, they do. Like a Salisbury pizza. Fuck. What time is it? You think we'd have time? Or should I just cook the thing? I should just cook her if I want to. These are the decisions that I'm given, the options that I'm given.
Something to 4 to 1 is a pretty good ratio for vocals. How quickly it's going to turn the volume down after it gets too loud is determined by the attack time Now, an 1176 style compressor like this one is a really, really fast compressor. So the slowest setting on the 1176 is still faster than the fastest setting on most compressors. But it's actually kind of the perfect setting for vocals because while it says it's slow, it's still really, really fast. So it's going to contain those words quickly. It's going to quickly turn down if it gets too loud. But it will let that very initial hit through that makes you realize that there's a vocal right in front of you. And so that's the important key here, is to let that initial part through so that the listener can hear them. If you get too fast on this, if you start being way over here, then that vocal is going to start feeling a little bit further away. It's not going to feel super up front. So if you want a really upfront vocal sound, setting this to slow is the key. And then you also want to set the release, which is just how quickly the volume is going to return after being turned down on the compressor to its original volume. So we want to set this back to as fast as it can go, which is about 50 milliseconds on this compressor. So if you're working with another compressor, you just need to set this to as fast probably as your compressor can go. Around a millisecond is a good place. But on this compressor, we're just going as slow as this one can go and as fast as the release can go. Now all we have to do is just dial up our input until we're seeing compression over here on our meter. We can see that we have 1, 2, 3, 4. This is volume decibels. And so we're just going to be looking to make sure that it's turning down on the louder ones and not turning the higher ones. So let's just play a little bit of song and try to get this dialed in. We're going to dial it in input here, and then we're going to use the output here to make up an volume that's lost. So when it turns down on louder words, we're going to make sure that we turn this back up so we're not losing all that volume. And then last but not least, just ignore this all over here. This is super advanced and isn't necessarily relevant for this video. Okay, let's get into it. So we're going to keep down this input up until we start to see compression.
Symbiotic.
So the key here is not how much it's turning down by, at least not on this main compressor. It's that it's not turning down things that it doesn't need to be. So let's go back to this earlier part that's a little bit quieter. There's a really brief moment there. He says, I'm drowning in debt. And on that drowning in, it doesn't compress at all. That's what we're looking for. Is there any word that doesn't get compressed at all? That's the key to knowing that you're setting this right. But then it quickly turns down anything that is loud. So then when we start to bring in our makeup gain, this is just turning up the output volume of this compressor, then that quieter word gets brought up a little bit in volume, so they're closer in total volume. The louder word gets turned down, the quieter word gets turned up with this output gain. So check this out. Right now we're seeing about maybe 4 to 5 decibels of gain reduction. So let's start around 3 to 4 decibels of made-up gain here, output gain.
If you're a producer who hates AI,
No. I hate advertisements. That's what I hate. I'm sorry. I'm a little pissed off tonight. I'm not gonna lie. I like Hotline. Hotline Bling. Like the song? The song by Drake, bro? That is a throwback.
How much more upfront present does that feel?
It sounds good, but it's very subtle. I can't tell.
So I feel really good. This is already compressing it. It's turning down things that are too loud and not turning down things that are too loud. And then the quieter parts get brought.
That is a throwback for real.
Yeah, I think that shit is
Perfect, honestly.
A little bit in volume with this output volume, and it all gets closer together in total volume, right? And that's the key to compression. That's how you make your vocal feel right up front to you. No word is ever lost, no word is ever too loud, but we're not losing the impact of the vocal. So one more time, let me just play a little bit of this for you, turning it off and on. This is on, off. It's subtle, but it makes it feel more present. Now, this is a very dynamic vocal, meaning that it's really all over the place. Some parts are really quiet, some parts are really loud. So something we might want to do is add a second compressor that's only turning down the really loud parts just a little bit before this compressor. So what I'm going to do is just move this compressor down. I'm going to option,
What sound do y'all like? Let's see. Which artist and which genre of music?
hold option on the keyboard, click and drag this up. That has duplicated this. So now I have two versions of this exact same plugin here. And what I want to do here is bring my input down, turn my output back down, and keep all of these settings. And I just want to see it turn down just a little bit on the really loud words. So let's let it play a little bit. I'm just looking for 1 to 3 decibels of gain reduction over here when it's getting really loud. So here we are looking for just a little bit of gain reduction.
What song do I like? It depends on which artist. It's from, honestly. It all depends on the artist on who it's from.
That's really what I was looking for is on that office where it's really hard there. So that's hitting about 3 decibels of gain reduction. We'll turn up just a little bit here so we're not losing too much volume. Let's look on our original compressor here. So this is our main compressor. Now this is working a little less hard on those super loud words. So just a little bonus for you if you have a really dynamic vocal and it's starting to sound a little over compressed. If I turn this one off, listen to the way it sounds when it hits this office. It feels a little bit choked, right? It's kind of hard to tell, but we can see on here it's getting a lot of gain reduction. You just
so. Step 5 is effects.
When it comes to balancing and highlighting, giving accented space in
Your mix effects are the tools for you, and by effects you only
we're only really talking about reverb and delay.
room reverb, a small realistic space for most or all of your parts to live in. Medium long reverb, typically on vocals or part that needs to sit further back in the mix. Time delay, typically on vocals to make them sound huge, lush, and interesting. Slap back delay, typically used on lead vocals and other lead elements to add thickness, warmth, and sometimes width. Now, oh, you a bitch. Now, before you go adding reverb to everything, it's worth noting that reverb is often very subtle used in pro mixes. Be intentional and often scale it back just a little. The best effects are often felt, not heard. If you're not careful, you can end up turning your clean and clear mix into a muddy, cloudy mess. Another important thing to note is that in a lot of cases using effects Effect sends, aka buses, are huge time savers and can lead to a more cohesive sound in your mix. An effect send is a track with just reverb or delay on it, and you can send your other tracks to that reverb delay. An effect send is a track with just reverb delay on it, and you can send your other tracks to that reverb delay, and it'll simply mix in underneath the track. Instead of setting up 100 reverbs and delays to your mix, you only have to set up 3 or 4. That's kind of smart, but I don't know how the fuck to do that. Now, unfortunately, GarageBand doesn't let us create our own effect sends, but they do give us 4. The master echo, master reverb can be accessed on any channel. The ambience and reverb sends can be accessed on any track on some software instruments and never on any drummer tracks. I tend to use these for my global effects that I want across several channels. If I want another effect, I like a slap back delay and a lead vocal. I can create a fake effect that's effect send by duplicating my lead vocal track, adding the reverb delay on the track, setting the mix to 100% and 0% dry, then using the volume fader for this new channel as an effect send. By creating this on a send, I have way more control over the sound effect and can tailor it to fit perfectly in the mix. I also can get more control over the automation of which I use it too. Damn, bro. Alright, you know what? I need to go get a Celsius or something. I can't survive the rest of this night. Alright, yo. I appreciate y'all for real. I'm finna get off for the night. Thank y'all for being up in this live. I'll probably get on a little bit later on because I have to finish up an hour. I'm at 41 minutes. But if anything, catch me tomorrow around the same time. Y'all have a wonderful night. Appreciate everybody. Appreciate Lil Mama, Thais, Marcus, and job application. Y'all really help.